Hi, my name is Jimmy Earp, and I'm a senior pastor. I've been saved for 38 years, been in ministry for roughly 15 years, and I'm here today to give a persuasive speech. And the main point of my speech is to persuade believers that they need to share the gospel. They've been commanded to share the gospel. There's a necessity to share the gospel, and to offer a creative way by sharing the gospel through the use of a Evangiball soccer ball. I will validate my speech by going through step by step the mandates that are given for us to share the gospel, and again for that necessity, and to show you exactly how to share the gospel. The main point, number one, is that the Father has commissioned us to share the gospel. In the Old Testament, it was prophesied that Jesus Christ would come, that we as believers are to tell. Go and tell the word. We have been given the authority by Jesus Christ. He says in Matthew 28, He gave the Great Commission, "Go therefore and make disciples, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit." That brings us to the third point, that the Spirit has been poured out upon us. It says in Acts 1:8 that when the Spirit comes, you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, to the ends of the earth. And fourthly, because Christ will return very soon to take His church. So we have been commissioned by the Father, by the Son, by the Spirit, and Jesus Christ will be returning soon. Main point number two is there is a necessity to do missions work. And that necessity is that there are 3.7 billion people that are on this earth that are lost. That ought to compel us to want to share the gospel. We learn that from the site www.bpsglobal.org. There are 6,449 unreached groups that represent those 3.7 billion people that need to hear the gospel. We also realize that the 1040 window is where 90% of the lost people in the world live. That's 10 degrees north and 40 degrees north latitude is the window where the majority of the lost people in this world are. The definition of an unreached people group is where there's no church planting activities and no active gospel presentation that is taking place. So that is what qualifies as unreached or an unevangelized people group. There's a need to translate the Bible. There is, in total languages in the world, 7,000 total languages. There's only 422 language groups that have the whole Bible. There's 1,079 that have the New Testament translated in their language. There is 876 languages that have one book of the Bible. So there's 2,983 languages in the world that have no translation of the Bible. So that brings us to the point that we've got to share the gospel. What is a creative way to do that? Well, as you saw at the beginning of the video, this soccer ball. It's different from any other soccer ball. It has colors on it, similar to the Wordless Book. You can go to thewordlessbook.com and look to see where these terms came from. First of all, on the ball we see the black. The black represents sin. For all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, it tells us in Romans 3:23. And we realize that the wages of that sin is death. That takes us to the red on the ball. If there's no way for us to get to heaven, how is that going to take place? Well, God didn't leave us without an answer. He sent His Son, Jesus Christ, for God so loved the world that He gave His only Son to shed His blood for us, that washes us white as snow, which is represented on the ball with the white. And when we have this relationship, we grow. We grow in spirit, we grow in truth, we grow in wisdom in God by studying the Bible, reading and praying, so that one day our ultimate goal is heaven. And that's what we want to share with these 3.7 billion people around the world, that there is a God that loves them, that sent His Son Jesus to die for them. And that we as believers need to be compelled to share His Word to all those people, that we've been commanded, there's a necessity, and that we have a way to share that. So I pray that you've been persuaded as a believer to share the gospel. God bless.